In this video, you are going to learn how to add objects to your scene and then also transform the object. So grab it, move it around your scene, scale it, and even rotate it in your scene. So manipulating those objects. So let's get started. So we are in our Blender scene and we only have our 3 default objects that are always in our scene. So we have our cube, a point light, and a camera. So what we're going to do, to select all objects in the scene, we're going to press A. So A to select every single object in your outliner, every single object in your scene. And then to delete an object, just press the delete button. You can press X then to delete your objects. So once we have done that, we are now going to add objects. Now to add objects, we have to have a specific shortcut. What we can do is go over here on the top left where you can see add, press add, and you'll get this option over here. Now the shortcut is I would recommend you learning is Shift A. So Shift and then A stands for add, Shift A, you'll get this add menu. Now this add menu will basically pop up a menu where all the objects are there and they will show you which objects you want to add. So we have like the lights, camera, speaker, force field, armature. We're going to look at lots of them in this tutorial series. So we're going to look at this mesh, the mesh primitives, so like our basic shapes that you learn in maths. So we have mesh, and we're going to add in a monkey. So we have a monkey in our scene. Now just to show you, the object will only spawn where the 3D cursor is. Now the 3D cursor is this red thing over here. This 3D cursor is this red thing over here. So let me delete my object, and this is our 3D cursor. So move our 3D cursor, it's going to be shift and then right click. So shift, right click, like that. So you can move your 3D cursor. Now you can do shift S to get this pie menu. So you can move your cursor to selected, cursor to world origin, cursor to active, cursor to grid, etc. So we're going to do the cursor to world origin, so we're going to go back into normal position. So we're going to do Shift A, and we're going to add in a monkey. Now you'll be wondering why I have so many objects, because I have add-ons enabled. So I'm going to leave the link in the description. I have the extra mesh objects, and I also have the camera rig objects as well. That's why I have this single vert or rock generator as well. If you don't have the add-on on, you only have the plane to the monkey. Okay? So now once we have the monkey, what I'm going to do, I'm going to press the delete button or the decimal point in our numpad, and we're going to focus on to our monkey. He looks very, very cool. Now what we're now going to do is move him around, because we don't want him in the center. We want him to move around. So what we're going to do is that, first of all, to move something, we can press G to grab. So we can move our monkey anywhere in our scene. And then to move it in a specific axis, so lock it into an axis, we can press G and then X to lock it in the X axis. And remember, the X color is red, and then we can only move it on the X axis. And then do the same thing for the Y axis, so GY to move it on the Y axis, and then GZ to move it on the Z axis. Now it's the same thing for the scale. To do scale, you probably guessed it's going to be S. So to scale an object, press S, and then you can scale it up, or you can scale it down. You can also scale it in a specific axis, so you can do S. X to scale it down on the X axis, SY to scale it on the Y axis, or SZ to scale it on the Z axis. And then remember guys, Control Z to undo something, so Control Z, so we're going to undo every single thing. And lastly, to rotate your object, press R, and that will rotate an object, something like this, and press double R to tumble rotate. So double R, tumble rotate, you see this 4 arrow crosshair pop up, and you can tumble rotate. So let's quickly undo that, scale it up a bit. So now to rotate on a specific axis, same thing, RX, rotate on X axis, RY on the Y axis, RZ on the Z axis, so RZ, Z axis. So once we have now done that, what we are now going to do is that we can add other objects to our scene. So we can do Shift right click, Shift A, and then you're going to add in a torus, and with this a donut shape. I love it. Scale it on the Z axis, and looking good. You can create awesome shapes. Now in my next video, I'm going to show you how to go into the edit mode, so we can mess around with the geometry and the vertices, so we can make complex shapes and model it so that it can get to our end result that we're going to create in this tutorial series, the mushroom. So I'm going to see you in the next video.